Welcome back to the 1010s Podcast, and we are joined this week with James from Kanga Motorsports.
Yeah.
It only took 183 episodes before we resorted to radio noises.
We sank to that level.
And he only just remembered it before we started.
I downloaded that app on my way here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he was ready for it.
I was.
Nice work. Nice. I'm glad that I'm the first guest that gets that.
Absolutely. Something special for our special guy.
And good news, the Australian's here, so we can talk about conspiracy theories.
Mate.
Yes.
The internet is not happy with you, Robbie.
No, they're not happy with you.
That's a lot.
Well,
of
yeah,
thumbs
it's you.
down.
Is it me?
Yeah, because you
named
picked the
it.
name. Yeah, so I posted on YouTube, and we always do it every week, and we get a little bit of traffic. Most people just listen to the podcast as a podcast, but some people watch it. Well, we had 4 times the views in half the time, and then I realized, it's because all these conspiracy theory nuts are trying to watch our. They literally watched the episode long enough to know that we only talked about it for the Mandela effect for 4 minutes, and then they commented about it, and then they gave us a bunch of thumbs down.
Yep.
So they watched all the way to the end and then gave the thumbs down?
Yes.
Somebody did because, there's this guy on the comments. His name is Tyler Durden, which should have been the first red flag.
Yes.
Because isn't that the...
That's the guy
Club?
from Fight Club.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And so
It's
he
such a
comments,
loser move, though.
It
right?
really is.
So lame.
He must be 12 years old.
Right, but he comments, should have been titled Talking About Honda. They only mentioned Mandela Effect for 4 minutes and obviously don't get it.
We're a car podcast.
What I think is funny is that I assume he fast forwarded through it, but that was a 2-hour show and we talked about it in the last 10 minutes.
And he found it.
And he went and found it.
Yep.
So
I hope you
But
listen to the whole thing.
how deep are you in YouTube
To get
that
to-
you got to that?
that quickly.
No, it was the day it went out.
It was the day of, dude.
Yeah, how deep are you
It was
into
within
YouTube
6 hours of it
conspiracy
being
theories
released.
to find that?
I really wanted to comment on there. You must be new here.
You should.
It's not too late.
No harm, no foul, I think.
Well, I posted on the group today that a bunch of people balanced it back out.
Perfect. Perfect.
But I thought for sure Spencer's going to get in there and just start poking him.
Yeah, I wish people had made some comments. So.
Somebody did reply to him.
No, they just quoted us.
Somebody said, or somebody, Josh Campbell, I don't know if he's a listener or another
Conspiracy nut.
but he said it should be called why would anyone buy a Suburban when you can buy a C8 Corvette, which I think is a perfectly reasonable statement.
Well,
I can't decide if he was making fun of us with
maybe
that or
he's
not.
enlightened now. He
Yeah.
didn't know
No,
about
he
that,
gets it.
and so now he's
Now
like,
he's
"Oh,
on
I
the-
didn't think about that."
Yeah, no,
so he learned something, and
There we go.
that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Yeah, you're broadening his YouTube horizons, so...
This podcast is about growth and change, and clearly we're helping not only us, but our listeners.
Yeah, and that guy.
Well, that's
Who's
what I
not
mean.
a listener.
Oh,
but
he might be. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be now.
So now
Maybe he likes conspiracy theories and cars because this
Maybe
is
he was coming to our defense.
the podcast for him. And if he likes water, I mean, shit.
who doesn't like
We
water?
literally make a podcast for one person.
Water's the
That's
most
that guy.
important thing in the world.
So all of our titles are going to be
Conspiracy theories
yeah,
from now on.
they have
Yeah,
to be.
absolutely.
Because I think we'll get more traffic that way.
even
if it's bad traffic, I don't
traffic's still
care.
good traffic, right?
So, well, welcome, James. This may be an unfortunate show for you because you have opened yourself up to an AMA.
I did, yes.
It went as poorly
Nice.
as you would expect.
I kind of know some of your listeners on the group, and so, I figured there'd be a few questions that are probably out there, but I was hoping there might be, a couple of car or racing-related questions in between.
You must be new here.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all here to
it's
have fun.
It's all good.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
of
I may
good
skip
ones
some
there.
questions. Who
There's
knows?
a couple.
Nah,
of
we're
good
keeping them
ones.
all.
I
there's
guess
not
it
that
is. It
many.
isn't ask me anything. So
Anything.
really, you're supposed to answer.
All
Should be
most all.
AMAA. Because
Has to be almost ended.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer.
Next time, that's what we're doing. AMAA. Somebody on Reddit surely has figured that out by
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Yep.
So, before we get into that, James, I think you're just going to hang out for the whole show,
Yeah,
aren't you?
you're in for the
Yeah,
ride.
I'm in for the long haul.
All right, apologize for that in advance. So Adam has an opener
I do.
presented by Factory Fabrication. So why don't you do that
All right.
deal?
So last week here in the Des Moines area, we had the return of our air show, and I guess it was a thing many, many, many moons ago when Michael was younger.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I went for sure. I can't tell you 100% if it was Des Moines because I was a child and I have no idea where it was.
It's probably Ankeny. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Let's just
Is that where they did this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where they said they used to do them. So.
You could have told me as a kid that we had driven all the way to fucking St. Louis, and I would have said, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
sounds right.
That was a great air show.
It probably was the St. Louis Air Show.
You guys spent a lot of time in St. Louis as a child?
No, just like as a kid, you have no idea about distances. You know what I mean? You're in the car, and you're like, we've been in the car for 6 fucking hours, and it's actually been 30 minutes. I remember the first time I drove to Ames, I was like, man, this thing is like way the hell up here.
It's not.
Yeah, I've made that trip twice today.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it was the first return, and I think they kind of tried to throw it down a little bit because of that. So they brought in the guy, they've got the announcer, and he's over there like just trying to hype the show up. And I don't know if he's just trying to hype the show up or if he's how serious he was about it. But he was talking about how some of the people they had there, like normally you would just get one of these groups of people at any air show, and they would be the headliner.
Yep.
But there's 4 of them here, right? So that's what he was spinning, right?
Gotcha.
And so like,
We got 4 main events.
yeah, exactly. So they had like Red Bull there.
Yep.
Right? And this guy came out like real fast and like right off the beginning, and I wasn't ready for it, so I didn't get any pictures of this for you, Robbie, and I apologize for it. But they had one of their like racing plane guys,
like
aerobatics guys.
Yeah.
And they had a Red Bull helicopter, right? And they said that this helicopter is the only helicopter in the world certified by the FAA to fly upside down.
Oh.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, dude. And I was like, okay, whatever, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So they like did a loop with this thing. And they were like throwing it into like corkscrews and just the craziest in a helicopter.
Helicopters don't make sense to me. Seeing one upside down makes even less sense.
Okay, so upside down helicopter. I was told because
Yes.
at different times in my life, I have been in the aviation circle very briefly, like just
Of course
just
you
the
have.
edge of
Why
it.
wouldn't you
Yeah,
have?
My
shocked if he
dad, my
wasn't.
dad used to have. My dad actually used to have a commercial pilot's license.
Okay.
Nice.
You just kind of ascend through licenses, and he
Yep,
got to commercial. I don't know
it's
why.
based on time, I think.
Yeah, and
for
he had a
large
bunch.
part
He had a
of
bunch
it.
of time. So anyway, I was kind of tangent to that type of stuff. But anyway, apparently,
Your dad's a very interesting
he's
man.
like
done
me.
things.
He used to be a
Still lots of-
competitive like target shooter,
Hell yeah.
like a ranked one.
That's awesome.
I don't know if he was ranked,
Like
but
a
he could.
good one.
He could
Ranked
have done
somewhere.
the senior tour.
He should still do it. There are lots
I
of
don't know
things
if he's done it much recently.
We got a YouTube idea for an airbag and him shooting shit off of it. We've
Love
just
it.
never done it.
Yeah, we could do that.
Put stuff on the airbag and
Yeah,
then
shoot it in the air and he just-
shoots it. Yep, yeah.
Be cool.
Give him a little practice. I don't see why it wouldn't work.
We can do
It'd
it.
be a lot of airbags we'd have to get.
So why we go with the U-Pull it? It can't be that expensive.
How much is an airbag?
I don't know.
Well, if an engine's $250, I think we're okay.
Yeah, he's good point.
What if we invite them to our airbag deploying like
Show.
thing?
They
and
could sponsor the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have to get? We probably, if we're going to set that many off, we probably need like an explosives permit because the police will be
think
down there
It's
eventually.
easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for
I was just gonna
permission.
say.
You do it enough
In
times,
the
the
words of
police will
Robbie
be down
Veerhout.
there.
Nah, dude, you just do it far enough out of town.
Do it around 4th of July.
There you go.
No one will ask
There
any
you
questions.
go.
That's
No one
that's the
solved.
loophole. Anyway, my point that I was trying to make is apparently I was told at some point that helicopters don't just fall out of the sky if the engine dies.
Yeah.
Apparently there is enough not lift necessarily, but when the helicopter is actually descending against the rotors, it does create some drag.
Right.
So their point was if the helicopter. Oh, I remember what it was. It was when they tried to drown me. Do you know about this?
No.
Your parents tried drowning
Okay,
you?
anyway, another story. Sorry. This would be a weird show. In a different life, in a different career, I had to work on an oil rig.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they did, and I never actually made it to the oil rig, it was a just in case you have to go to the oil rig thing, is you have to go down to Louisiana, and they have a pool, and they take a helicopter fuselage, and they try to drown you in it.
You have to get out.
You have to get out. So basically what they're doing is they're simulating a crash landing from a helicopter into the ocean.
Yep.
And then you got to figure out how to bail out. So first of all, they just kind of put you in it, and they just kind of lower it into the pool, and they're like, just get out of the window, because all the windows are out, and you just kind of get out. And it just keeps advancing to the point where It crashes into the water. It turns upside down immediately.
Oh my God.
Your window won't open. Your passenger's window will, and you got to wait for the guy across the aisle to get out, and then follow him out upside down, and then come up to the surface and not
That's
die.
fucking wild, dude.
So
holy shit.
that was a lot of fun. But anyway, my point was, backing up again, he said that if the helicopter does go down, the engine fails, whatever, you're not just gonna you're not
fall
don't
like a brick.
completely write your life off. Right off 90% of it. There's a 90% chance you're gonna die.
It has like auto rotation or whatever as it's going, right? I think the blades keep rotating with the wind or something like that. I forget what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But you would think it's just a lead balloon at that point.
We can just ask our resident rocket scientist.
We have like 2 rocket scientists.
That's true. We have
Well,
multiple.
I'm fully aware of what happens when a fuel nozzle fails and an engine or a helicopter falls out of the sky.
Seen it?
I'm fully aware of this.
Does it
That
fall
was
out
like
of the sky?
Tuesday's training, right, Robbie?
What was that?
It was Tuesday's training for you.
No, but I got a crash course in it when I got started. And they're like, hey, by the way, this is your program now. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very young.
Don't fuck it up,
I don't
Robbie.
want to be responsible for
There's only lives on the line.
Yes.
Families, Robbie. Think of
Yes.
the children.
people with families.
Luckily, it's not a big helicopter. So
Oh, so there's less people.
when helicopters crash, less people die.
It's good.
Do you do commercial engines, though?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yup.
Like normal people.
Yup.
Robbie has said before, if you knew, you probably wouldn't fly.
I don't mean it quite that bad, but yeah, flying's scary.
You're way less likely to die flying, though.
Statistically,
Than driving,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, the failure, like if it fails, it's,
Catastrophic,
yeah,
typically.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, my mirror fell off. So be it.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Things are inspected way stricter in aerospace.
As they should be.
Automotive? Nah, not so much.
Yeah, that I was kind of thinking about that today. Maybe we should kind of think about not being that way.
What? Oh, about letting shit go in
Yeah.
automotive? Like the tolerances being worth
Well,
it?
no, we're way out of here now, whatever. But so friend of the show, Austin Covey, and sorry if I'm throwing you under the bus for this a little bit, Austin. It's fine. He's got this Duramax, this big Duramax Chevy truck, right? And he had the front wheel fall off of the thing, literally just.
Like the lug nuts? Just all
No, there was some significant failure within the suspension system.
Oh.
And the whole thing came off. Broke the caliper brackets, welded some of the bearings to the raceways inside of the wheel bearing,
Jeez.
blew the CV joint apart. The whole
catastrophic failure.
whole rig just exited stage left, right?
Whoa.
While he's driving down the highway. And I know Austin well enough to know that it wasn't like he was driving down the road thinking, oh, this wheel's gonna fall off. It's just a matter of time, right? That was at some level caught him by surprise.
Yeah. It just all of a sudden.
Yeah, something went and that happened. But there's a lot of people out there who are not up to date enough to know that when you drive around, you see all these shit cars, and I drive shit cars too, but I know that they're safe at least.
Safe-ish, yeah.
But dude, there's a lot of people out there who don't.
Oh, no.
What happens if something like that happens?
They die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, most people live.
I'm not real big on the government telling me to do stuff, so
I'm less concerned about what happens to them and more concerned about what happens to me when their car comes crashing into my lane.
That is true.
I mean, if your car fails on your negligence and you get hurt, you get hurt.
Hey,
It
wait,
is what it is.
don't they do that in California, James? Where they have to... Or is that just smog?
We just have smog. I think it's the UK. They have I think
rust.
it's an MOT or whatever where they have to check, and same in Japan. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Japan did.
Yeah, it gets really expensive to own older cars in Japan really quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, because you have to have everything pristine kind of
Yeah.
thing in the suspension.
Yep. So I don't know that we need to be that far.
We're on the other end of the spectrum. Though.
But maybe we should meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I just don't want them to start messing with engine swaps and stuff.
Yeah, no,
so.
I'm with you on that. And it's a
Slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, and it's a very tricky line to walk. I don't know where we need to be on it, but
it doesn't matter because you're not going to own your car in the next 10 years anyway. That's what Dan the Man said.
There was a news article about where the hell was it? Some country is getting ready to set a law where basically we won't own cars in 50 or
Isn't that
by
Sweden?
2050.
So that might be Sweden.
Sure.
I know that Paris is trying to pass a law, or did pass a law, that says you can't bring cars into the inner city anymore.
Right.
Jeez.
Effective whenever. I'm not
It's
sure.
just another reason to live in the country, Robbie.
There's a long list of reasons.
I don't need any more reasons.
There's a long list of reasons not to live in
never
Paris,
growing.
so
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about
Anyway, air show things. So, I don't know that I've ever been to an air show. I mean, I've, seen them on TV and stuff like that, but like, people should go to this.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad.
I've always tried to go to the Oshkosh one. I've never done
It was the coolest thing I've
that.
ever
That's
done.
what I went to.
Oshkosh?
There we go.
That's a
Thank you.
huge
Well,
air
that's
show.
I've been to that one.
That's like
That's a big boy
That's
air
on
show.
another level.
That is
it?
That is the
that's
air show.
The air
Dude,
show.
you're 6 years
yeah.
old. You don't know. There's a truck shooting flames, man. That's
Yeah,
like,
I saw that. I got a
that's
picture.
all you're
Robbie's got
about.
a picture of that. So they had a jet truck there called Aftershock. It looks like an old fire truck, right?
Yep.
There's a picture in there somewhere of it shooting flames too, Robbie.
Yep.
They said he does 300 miles an hour on the runway.
Oh boy.
I don't know if he really did or not. He was not going slow though. I can assure you of that. Also, if you're interested, there is an option to get a passenger seat ride in that car.
Yeah.
$2,000, please.
Then no.
Whoa.
That's too much.
So, like at first you're like, "Woof, that's a lot of money," but like, what do you think it costs to run that bad boy?
Like $2,000 a run.
They might not really. They might not really make that much money on that.
I bet they don't make money on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Yeah, jet fuel is not cheap.
yeah, it smells strongly of kerosene. I don't know if it's like legit jet fuel or not, but
It's probably Jet A.
it smells strongly of kerosene. I can tell you that.
Jet fuel's not a great smell.
So, since it's a fire truck, right?
It's literally a fire truck.
And that too. But all good firemen have Dalmatians, right? So their support vehicle, the vehicle they use to like run along with it and then tow it back in, is a smart car painted to look like a Dalmatian. Does that hurt you, Rob or Michael?
Sort of, yeah. I just don't like smart cars. How's it tow anything? It pulls it?
Dude, it pulled it. They had it on a strap, pulled it back in.
Maybe it's an electric one.
Nope.
No?
Weird.
Didn't sound like
Those
it was
things
a
can't even
Busa.
move out of their own way.
Didn't sound like it was a Busa either. And I would think
Swapped.
that like that's probably not the heaviest thing in the world, but it can't be light.
No, it's
What's tow rating on a smart car?
A lot less than that truck weighs. I can assure you of that.
I think it's 2 people.
Yeah, exactly.
65 pounds.
2.5 people. So that was pretty cool. That picture there that Robbie's got pulled up, we were like second row back from the front of the whole thing.
Yep.
And so they would like taxi the planes by us and like you could feel the wash coming off the propellers and stuff like that. And that's not where he raced the thing. He went out on one of the runways out in the middle. But he rolled by there and was just like purging the thing. And dude, it was hot.
Oh, I
And
bet.
he's like 30 feet away from us and just like launching 20-foot flames out of the back of that truck. It was rad.
those are hot flames.
That's life changing.
Yeah.
That was sweet. That was a good time.
It's like Top Fuel dragsters, but different.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So
Was it super loud?
it's not really as loud as you think it would be. It's definitely not Top Fuel Dragster loud.
Gotcha. There are very
So-
few things that are that loud.
No, yeah, exactly. Like nuclear bombs and space shuttles, basically. But I don't know. I thought that was fun. My kid really loved that because he likes fire trucks to begin with, and then there's jet fuel or jet engines, and it went really fast, and that was pretty much the highlight of the show for him too. Most of the planes that flew that day, I think, in fact, all the planes that flew that day were prop planes. They didn't have any jet powered ones. My parents not that long ago went to an air show down in the North Carolina area where my sister and her husband live. Her husband, my brother-in-law, is a like F-18 fighter pilot or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what plane he actually flies, but it is a legit like fighter jet.
Right.
And so they had, I think it may have even been on base, an air show, and like they used a lot of the jets to fly around there, right? And my dad said that he kind of liked these better because while the jets were cool to see, these don't move as fast, and so it's like a little easier to keep track of what's
can see
going
them.
on. Yeah, yeah. So some of the highlights of the stuff they did, obviously they have like the 4 planes flying around out there and like doing all these crazy things, and that was really fun to watch. And like it's really impressive the amount of like control these guys have. You know, we talk about car control and drifting and racing and stuff like that. That shit doesn't compare.
No, it's not even close.
This stuff's out of control because like they're doing these like loops, you know, and so but they stay in formation.
Yeah, like.
But if you think about it, like depending on where you're at in their stack of that formation, you got to have different speed compared to the next guy, right? Because you know, like
you got to stay in formation.
When you're on a merry-go-round, the farther out you are, the faster you're going. Well, it's the same thing here. So like the guy who's on the outside of the formation's got to be going faster than the guy on the inside, but they all stay perfect.
Yep.
It's impressive. It's really, really impressive. And then some of the solo acts, they had a guy that, like, he comes out, he taxis out, you know, and he takes off and just, like, picks the plane up, and it had to be 3 inches off the ground, and flips it over. Like, dude, those wings had to have been, like...
Scraping.
Yeah, so close, dude, so close. And then, like, he was, like, flying by us sideways, like legit drifting his airplane. The whole 9 yards. And then they set up these poles out in the middle of the runway, and they had banners strung between the two of them. This is a biplane. Biplanes are not short planes, right?
Yep.
They said the bottom string was at 10 feet and the top one was at 18 feet. And I'm guessing this plane had to be like 7'6" to begin with. And he flew through them, and then he came back and flew through them upside down, and then he came back and hit one on purpose, like snagged it with a hook, but didn't break the other one. Dude, it's crazy. The amount of precision these guys have in those airplanes is insane. So, it was so
Where do you
cool.
get the money to practice?
I always wondered
Because it's so much money to run an airplane.
When I was at Bobcat,
even a biplane.
When I was at Bobcat, there was a guy that would, I assume he did this professionally or at least at air shows, because I could see him practicing from our lot. So I'd be outside working and he'd just be spinning up in the air all afternoon.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I had to be reminded to go back to work a lot. hey, work.
In a real airplane or an RC airplane?
No, real airplane.
Oh, damn.
Hey, just go straight up in the air and spin, and then spin down, and then go all over. I mean, it was the craziest thing.
Huh. And they were talking about most of these planes are still carbureted. So like when they do certain tricks, they have fuel cut and the engines die.
Nah, panic attack, bro. No, thank you.
But then when you bring it back to the right side up,
back,
then the gravity comes back in again, and you're fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I like this Honda airplane.
Yeah, I don't know why it was sponsored by Honda Generator, but it was. So, those were like big World War II trainer planes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went out first and they had like a stunt team, and these were like the planes that are specifically designed for doing these stunts and stuff like that. And it was really impressive and cool to watch. And then these four guys comes out in these World War II trainer planes, which are like twice the size. They're huge planes by comparison, especially for single-seater planes.
Right.
And you could tell that they're just like, they're more ungainly, they're more slow, they're less agile, and they're out there doing the same shit. And like, it blew my mind that those guys could do those things with those big of airplanes. It was crazy. Ton of fun.
Yeah.
If there's an air show nearby you, go. It's the best.
I've never made one.
It's so much fun. So, and then they had, I didn't get to see them because I think they had packed up and kind of called it a weekend, but they had RC planes. I didn't get to see them fly. I got to see a couple of them packing up, but they had like these, I don't know if they would be 8th or 6th or whatever scale jet planes, but they look like legit fighter jets.
Yep.
Pretty dope.
Dude, they're so sick. They had one that I think might have legit been big enough for a person to fit in, but didn't.
That'd be cool.
It's like it was that big. It was like half
Quarter scale?
Like maybe half or quarter scale. It was huge.
With the remote?
Yeah.
Running it?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was super cool. That I could see myself getting into. I'm sure that one of those planes is probably like worth more than my house.
It can be, I'm sure.
So, like, I don't even want to know what it costs to build one of those, but it'd be super rad.
Be really disappointing when something goes wrong because
yeah,
It's expensive. Yeah,
bye-bye,
say
RC
goodbye to
plane.
all that money.
but like,
can you insure an RC plane?
I kept telling my dad, like, we're quitting cars, we're selling them all, we're doing airplanes now, right? And he's like, you could sell all your cars and maybe have enough money to get your pilot's license, but not your plane. I'm like, Yeah, but you can
Yup.
buy the plane, Dad.
No, man, you don't have to buy it. You just got to get into one of those clubs.
Yeah, there's
just
one.
rent
There's one in Greenfield.
Yeah.
What's the one in Greenfield called? Do you have any idea?
Greenfield Flying
how
Club.
many?
I don't fucking
how
know.
many fucking planes could they possibly have in
I
Greenfield?
think they have
One.
2 or 3 out of that
Really?
club. Little Piper clubs.
I can't believe there's enough people
I
in
had a-
Greenfield to want to like
one of my-
timeshare airplanes.
One of my old coworkers, his dad was a part of that. He grew up in Greenfield, and his dad was a part of that. And he remembers vividly, like Sunday afternoon, every couple of weeks, him and the family, the mom, dad, him and his brother, get in the airplane and just go for a fly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a Viper 70 millimeter EDF jet. This would be an RC airplane. It says jet.
Yes.
I'm assuming it doesn't come with an engine.
Oh,
I'm just assuming.
okay.
Oh, here we go. I found the shit. Oh, no, wait a second. That's not so bad. Okay. Anyway, to buy the jet, it's $249.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
That's the plane.
Just the plane.
That's not very big though, right?
Is it plastic or metal?
It's probably plastic or balsa wood with plastic wrapped over it.
I assume this is like
Foam
like-
core or something.
like the size of an average RC car.
It is, so it's 5 pounds.
Yeah, so
It's
just
40 inches.
It's just a little guy.
40 inches.
inches.
Yeah, but
That's
that
pretty
thing
good.
was like
Well, yeah, well, that's different scales, different money.
okay.
So anyway, to complete this, you need a $229 transmitter. So remote.
Yep. That makes sense.
A battery for the plane and a charger. It's $50.
You don't want a battery powered one. You want a gas powered one.
No, that is gas. It's a jet plane.
You just said battery for the
No,
plane.
I think it's battery powered in. No, wait a second. I don't know.
I'm sure that there's
Battery
still
powered.
electronics that need batteries.
Yeah, it's true. You got ailerons and
Yeah.
all that
That's
fun
what the
stuff.
generator's for.
Oh man,
off
you
the
can
engine.
get an F-15 for $180.
Shit, son. I'm selling my
Dude,
cars.
screw this stuff, man. This has got to be cheaper and more fun.
There's a little RC airport thing just like south of Nevada on one of the blacktops. I drive by there every once in a while on my way home from work if I decided to like take a weird route. And every time I go by there, when I have time, they're not there. And when I really need to get home, they are. And it always makes me sad because I want to stop and talk to these people. And,
Well, they were doing it that day we
Watch
did
them
the cruise.
oh, yeah. See, exactly.
Yeah, we saw them.
Yeah. Days when I don't have time to stop.
Yeah. We could have stopped. We should've stopped.
High-powered EDF, 11-blade, 64-millimeter fan, high RPM, brushless motor.
That's a jet turbine.
It's just an electric one.
It's a brushless motor like a drill.
So that's what flies it?
Apparently.
Is it a prop? Or does it like suck air through with a turbine but not jet?
It must be
powered?
some sort of turbine thing. I don't know. Somebody on the group's going to act like they know, and they're going to tell us we're fucking wrong. So
Wait for YouTube.
It's fine.
yeah, wait for you. You guys are fucking stupid. I listened to this whole 2-hour podcast.
You must
guys
be
don't know
good.
shit about model airplanes. Well,
You're right.
yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah,
no
obviously.
fucking joke. Glad you had all that spare time. Loser! There.
Tyler Durden.
All right, anyway. Does that wrap up the air
That's all
show
I
cover?
got.
Okay.
Go to air shows, people. It was a lot of fun.
Booney didn't go, did he?
I don't know. He might
That sounds
have.
like something Booney would do with his kids.
But I don't think
Yeah.
It was a
Booney did.
multi-day event. I only went the one day. I know Luke was there at some point.
Luke was
Stilley.
definitely there because I think
Stilley was there.
Luke's selling everything and buying an airplane. But
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'm selling.
He's out,
we're
man.
buying
He's
airplanes.
out.
I'm gonna hit up Luke on my way home.
He's had a bad string of luck though.
Well, yeah, he does.
Cars are hard,
he does
man.
drifting.
Cars are
It's
dumb.
like extra hard on cars.
Yes.
So
Oh well.
What do we call our podcast now that we're the 10 Planes podcast?
Nah, you can still go
be-
10
You
tenths
can
in
go
a
10 tenths in an airplane, right?
sure.
Those
That's
guys
close.
were for sure going 10 tenths.
I'll allow it.
The problem is that the difference between 10 and 11 tenths in an airplane is a real seriously
time.
different situation.
Talk about expensive.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not expensive for you.
Well, okay,
because
That's
fair.
somebody else's problem. Just make sure you have life insurance. It's all going to be
I
fine.
have,
that's somebody else's problem.
I have, to my knowledge, 3 life insurance policies. So, but only one of them is only good if I am killed at work.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
get
place
paid
I
out.
work.
I
at.
forgot that was a thing.
The place I work at has a life insurance.
They got to look into
policy.
how you died.
Yep.
What was he doing?
He was at work.
Flying a plane. Ah, well, fuck that guy.
Yeah, forget that guy. We're not paying him shit. Sucks to suck. Should have fallen off a tower, loser. I assume that's how all conversations go with that company.
I don't think we've ever had
to your widow. Yeah, that's great. I'd like to ask Booney a little bit more about this, but he made the post about contributing to the Make-A-Wish Foundation house that they built in Grimes.
No, I didn't see that.
So I'm going to have to ask him a little bit more about that, but
that's cool.
Get a chance to do that.
Good for
so
them.
we appreciate them giving back to the community.
That's awesome.
I'm not surprised with that, with Booney.
Where was that post on Facebook? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's on. I thought it was on Instagram, but it's on Facebook. There's not a ton of details, so we'll ask him about it and get some more information. Booney's a giving guy. He wants to act like an asshole.
He's nice.
He's the nicest guy
dude on the
ever.
planet.
He's the nicest
yeah,
dude
absolutely.
on the planet. He just doesn't want people to talk to him.
Except for maybe James. I think James could give
James
him a run
might be
for his
nice.
money.
Or Adam Jabay. Adam Jabay.
I got a text message earlier this week about how nice James is. From Daniel.
Oh.
So.
Right on. All right. Let's jump into this bullshit that is on the page. James from Kanga Motorsports AMA.
AMAA.
AMAA. Nah, see, I didn't preface it that way.
Yeah, but we can now. Anything. We can change the rules on the fly. We do it all the time.
So, actually, James, before we jump into this, you want to give us a quick season update? Because I don't think anybody really asked that specifically. So, you want to talk a little bit about...
Assholes.
Ask race car questions. You want to tell us a little bit about your racing season, and I think somebody asked about the Datsun, so let's save that. But let's talk about the race season.
So been running Spec Racer Forward again, Gen 3. So I have the upgraded car this year. I had it last year for the runoffs. This year I'm just doing the regional races. So Laguna Seca, Thunderhill, and then Sonoma. I've had some good races and I've had some not so good races. Some of it I've done to myself. But I've also had, a couple DNFs. Whether through contact or, I lost the transmission in one race, so that kind of sucked. But overall, having a good season. I think I'm getting faster, so I'm moving up the field, and I'm pretty much setting new personal best times most weekends. So that's been great this year. So
I think somebody did ask about that specifically about how you've improved your program. So maybe we'll stop there and we'll get into the questions.
Yeah. We can jump into the questions and then get back to stuff if you guys are curious. So,
Derek asked where he should send an EAPD decal, which I don't understand what that means.
Eyes ahead, pedal down. It says,
all right.
Eyes ahead,
you can get in touch with him.
Yeah, I'll send him a DM. That way I don't get a whole bunch of water
just put your
address.
Put your address on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
He also says he did experience the Mandela effect when he saw his number was 82 and thought it was 77.
Oh, yeah. So I used to run 77 on my car, and then it was really hard for the runoffs last year to get 77. Someone had scooped the number already at the national level. So I had to change my number, and I got tired of changing the number back and forth. So I'm running 82 right now. So
he's more observant than I am because I wouldn't
have.
I didn't
pick up on
anyway. Nick says, so where are you really from, James? Really, we all know Australia is a government conspiracy.
So I'm from Australia. From Adelaide is where I grew up.
Robbie.
I guess they're just going to have to fly there to see Australia. I don't know what to tell them.
So the place where you grew up in Australia, what was the environment like? Because people have one. Is
it in the south?
People have one perception of Australia, and it's Crocodile Dundee from the 80s.
Great movie.
An American classic.
Where I grew up, it's like a big city that's quite a big urban sprawl. It's about 1.2 million people, and it's coastal, so we get a lot of thunderstorms, and it's quite hot, so it doesn't freeze there, and it's very rare to get snow other than in the nearby mountains. But it'll get up to over 100 degrees C in the summertime. So, but we get the cool ocean breeze, and so we get thunderstorms and stuff like that. So it's kind of, if you picture of Australia and you look at the bight at the bottom, we're on the eastern side of that bight. So.
Wait, did you say 100 C?
No, like 100F. Sorry, it's like, I was trying to translate for
Hot AF.
Yeah,
100C would be really hot, man.
People die.
I was doing C in my
all
head
the time,
and I think
Robbie.
I meant to do it. Yeah, so it's like I think up to 40 C, so whatever that is in Fahrenheit. I still struggle to
Hot as
learn
shit.
your archaic system. So
Oh, listen to this guy.
That's because you know the right system and the American system is fucking stupid.
yeah, like 0 freezes, 100 boils. Well, that makes sense.
It makes
huh?
perfect sense, right? Or a millimeter is like straight into a centimeter, straight. Yeah, just all
We
across
don't
the
have
board.
time for your shit, Robbie.
Careful.
This is America.
You're talking to the
What the fuck is
Cubic
future
inches, Robbie.
You're talking to the
feet into miles and dumb.
the future host
Dumb,
of a construction podcast.
dumb.
It's not
Yeah.
going to work out well
No.
for you, Robbie.
We can't do
Is it
How-
really 2x4?
It's not too
that.
bad.
I'm with you.
1.5 by 3.5.
I'm with you on that one, Robbie. But like, you can't do like whatever 16 inches changed to centimeters is. It doesn't even make any sense, Robbie.
I know it needs to be centimeters to millimeters to meters to.
Well, yeah, but like, what about everything we have already?
We can change it.
There's a lot of tape measures out there.
Get rid of them.
A tape
That's
measure,
a Mandela
tape
effect. That would
measure
be a 4.
buyback
I'm
program.
not gonna be like, that's 40.5 centimeters on center stud spacing, guys.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
gonna-
the
dumb.
problem. Is all
That's what it
all
should
the
be.
studs are based on inches. That'll be what fucks you. That's why it'll never change.
40.5, guys.
Should be.
Make sure your stud spacing is at 40.64. No,
He's
no one's gonna
he's
do
exactly right. That's why.
That. No one's gonna
it
do
won't
that,
work.
Robbie.
You can just round it down to 40. It's fine.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Once you have to start doing math.
Buildings for the next 3
I'm
years
actually-
be
I'm
all
actually-
fucking lopsided
I'm
if you do that.
I'm pro switching, and
It'll never
every time
happen.
people talk to me about it, they're like, well, like we've gone so far, and it would be so much work, and I'm like, and every day we don't do it, it's
gets
harder.
We should have done it 50 years ago.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you on that.
What system does Australia use?
The right
We
one?
use the metric system, but we still have some legacy stuff left behind, but mostly it's the metric system.
Did they
so.
switch at some point?
Yeah, so we were British,
Oh, that's right. Because you guys are a bunch
so
of criminals. I forgot about that.
So Adelaide actually was the only major city that wasn't a penal colony. We
That's
just killed
awfully
whales.
Convenient. It's awfully convenient. Do you have any
Yeah.
idea what your ancestors did to get stuck there? Like, were they murderers or pillagers or like what were they that they got sent there? Do you have any idea?
So my mom was actually English. She came over from England when she was, I think, 5 or so. And then I think my dad's lineage at some point goes back to France at some point. Hence the name, I guess.
I
Makes
suppose.
sense. A likely story.
All right. Next question, perhaps.
All right, I better have a picture for this.
Things updated. Sorry.
Great.
I updated my computer before we started this because it was trying to update, and I was like, you know what?
Well, let's do it.
I'm just gonna do the update now,
I did
so
the
we don't
same
have
thing.
this problem. People in the group are doing stuff. Why are they talking to each other so
Wednesday
fucking
needs to be
much?
quiet night.
Yeah, because I gotta look at stuff on here.
We should shut the group off.
Other
I wonder
conspiracy-
if I
yeah.
can do that.
Other conspiracy theories. You can't. There was a group I was in where I think the admins would take a month off, and they would just like
Mute
yeah, we're just
everybody?
not gonna do this for January, and they'd close the group. It was bizarre.
That's strange.
That's weird.
But it was a big group.
Yeah,
I
but
think that they
still.
were like doing it all the time.
Can't
like,
let
it's their
the, yeah,
vacation.
you can't let
No, if anything, you just leave for a month and let
when the
just
cats
let-
are, when
yeah.
the cats are away, Robbie. You can't let that happen.
Somebody will take
You
over.
two can stay. I'll bow out for a bit, and
All right.
you're in control.
Okay, Ryan, with a relevant question. You've been gaining a lot of speed this year. What do you think has been your largest contributor?
10 Tenths podcast.
That's definitely not true.
That's a good question.
I had the perfect.
I'd say confidence, maybe. But there's a lot of things this year that we kind of changed.
You started using the Apex Pro, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the Apex Pro on the dash. That helps. I think a big turning point was the day I spent with Ross, and that was towards the end of last season.
So Speed Secrets podcast. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, and he kind of taught me how he does his coaching, and then I got to see how he does his coaching, and then being able to apply that. But I think a lot of it has been mental. Like, I feel more comfortable in the car. I have more confidence, and I know that I can run faster times. So it's really about ability kind of thing. It's not really. It's not. I'm not off by 10 seconds. Or 5 seconds or whatever. I can do some parts of the track better than others, and I can do other parts not as well, and so it kind of adds up. And so I'm kind of chasing the small gains now. So I think that I changed the way I do my track notes and like sessions. So after each session, I kind of have a different debrief sheet that I use now, and it basically focuses on just 3 things per session, and I check out. Before I go out on track, I write down the 3 things I'm going to work on, and then coming off track, I write down the 3 things how I did against them. And sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but I'll find something else, and then I'll make extra notes. And then I started making notes exactly straight after the race weekend, and then I have that as like a digital file on my phone, and I can pull that up before the next race weekend at the track, so I know exactly which corners I need to go after, and I don't have to like dig as much to remember things. So I've kind of made some things simpler for myself. That's helped a lot. But it's probably a confidence, mental game kind of thing, and then just being more comfortable in the car. Last year was really a learning year I had to, like, the car is the same, but like with the new motor and the different horsepower, the shift points are a lot different, and the way the car drove is different. And so last year was a lot of a learning year. So.
Do you have any tips for people who are considering track notes, especially after Rowdy got made fun of for his track notes?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel like an idiot when you're doing it, right? You're sitting down writing stuff, but if you look around at all the people, they're doing it as well, right? The real fast guys, they're doing it. They're not just like going out and driving laps. They're really looking at one. So I think one big thing for me was like I was trying to do everything all at once, kind of like trying to remember all of the track and like what the car was doing everywhere and focusing on too many things. And I would never quite get there. I wouldn't be able to remember it all. And so I tried to like pare it down to just like specific things. And I did that by like looking at where I was losing the most lap time and then just focusing on that area. And then once I started to gain back on there, it kind of gives you a confidence boost kind of thing. And that's real good if you've got like data to compare against with somebody else. But one of the first thing that Ross had me do was go out, drive the car, and come back and tell him what the car was doing and how it felt, and like, when you kind of have to, when you come in and you're reporting to yourself, it's a little bit different than when you're coming in and you're reporting to somebody else. Like, it's kind of like you're more, I guess, beholden to someone, someone you're accountable kind of thing more. And so like going through that experience, I think helped me make better notes,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of write it as if I'm writing it to somebody else, even though I know it's going to be me in the future, but it's like me 2 months from now when I've forgotten what I was writing 2 months ago kind of thing.
Detail is key.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to write like brake later, or carry more speed.
How much later, damn it?
And so now I'll go, okay, brake later at this mark by this point and get off the brakes at this location, or like carry 2 more miles per hour into here, or brake pedal pressure of 5, instead of like, lighter braking, all these relative terms were like, I used to do it all the time, and it seems silly, like when you say it out loud. But like, that's what I would do because at the time it made sense to me. But when 2 months later I come back to the same track, I'm like, brake later than what kind of thing. So
that's future James's problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then you're like, damn it, past James.
Yeah. So Laguna Seca is a good example. The hairpin there in turn 2, there's multiple markers, and you can kind of learn where you're braking. And so I started using numbers and reference points better, and that really helps. So that the first few sessions, you're not getting back to where you were. So kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
all right.
Be specific and be numeric, quantitative rather than qualitative.
Austin Covey
Yes.
wants to know, and I'm paraphrasing, do you think birds are fake?
I think birds are real.
That sounds like
I'm
something
sorry.
a government
I know that's
show
not
would
going to
say.
do good for your YouTube views. I'm sorry. But I think they're real.
I can do the name what the hell is that, Robbie?
It's a picture of a bird being eaten by a spider in Australia.
Yeah, that happened.
I had a picture for everything.
Dude, screw that.
That spider is as big as a
God,
bird.
I want to go to
and it
Australia
is-
so bad.
This bird, the size of a sparrow, is
There's none of those in Adelaide, though, right?
Well, up in I think the tropics is where the bigger spiders are. But we do have compared to the U.S., we have big spiders and stuff. But they're not toys. You don't play with them. You don't touch them. You kind of
You don't?
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
will.
staying the fuck as far away as possible.
No, I'll be up in their face, dude. Are you kidding me?
Nah,
I'll be like, how do
you
I get this on my
shitting
carry
me?
on?
Are you shitting me?
Nah, dude, that'd be sweet.
Why?
he's weird about the insects.
Why?
Yeah, I love them.
He's eating a bird.
I know, right?
What's he gonna do to you?
I'm gonna give him birds, and he'll be sweet. And we're flipping him a bird once a week. It'll
Pass.
be
Yeah, we have this little. So in Adelaide, we have a little tiny spider, yay big, that has a red stripe on it. It's called a redback, and there was a poisonous. My dad was playing. He was putting in the backyard. He used to play golf, and he was practice putting, and he put his hand down on the hole to pick up the ball, and he got bit, and then he was in hospital.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, and it's like so you when you're a kid, you kind of learn not to mess with things.
Do you have a lot of sharks and stuff? Do you get to go swimming, or is that not a thing there either?
So there are parts near to Adelaide, but Adelaide itself doesn't have a lot of sharks. But
'Cause I was looking
further
at-
up in the Gulf.
I was looking at the Googles. You got that big island right there. I didn't know if that area between there looks like a nice place for some not so nice sea creatures to hang out.
Yeah, so that's Kangaroo Island, and there's a whole
It's
bunch
Kangaroo
of
Island, guys. It's Kangaroo Island. It's the best.
Yeah, that so the water there is real cold because basically below it, is Antarctica. So
that's fair. I didn't think about
the
that.
currents that flow up from that. So you get a lot of whales and seals, and so I think the sharks go after the seals there. So there's a big seal colony there. So.
Robbie, look up
Yes.
albino Australian bird-eating tarantula.
This is gonna take a
I
lifetime
am
to load.
pro this spider. I'm good with this spider. Albino Australian bird-eating
How
tarantula.
can you be pro bird eating spider?
Look at him.
Is he adorable?
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Creepy.
He looks like something from Star Wars.
Oh, I'm in.
Hold on, just a minute.
Dude, I want a Goliath bird eating spider in the
Man,
worst
look at
way.
that.
Oh, it's adorable.
My bad. Hold on.
Have you
It's
seen
all
one of these, James?
fluffy and-
They're fluffy.
No, I haven't seen it. Let me
Looks
see.
like
Oh,
it's
man,
from
it's
a cave or something.
Adorable.
Yeah, it's fluffy. It's not like
It does look soft.
spiders have that real.
He looks like you just cuddle up with him at night.
Yeah, it's
you
got
know?
real fine fur.
Be my
it
cat on
looks
one
like-
side and my spider
looks
on
like
the
a-
other. It'll be great.
Cat with 8 legs,
Yeah, and red
but
eyes.
and not the cat face, obviously, but the hair.
Yeah, that doesn't look like something you should play with.
I mean, that's your opinion.
It might be the best pet you
I
ever
don't know
had.
why you like.
No, I
spiders
think it'd be
so
the
much,
worst
man.
pet you've ever had.
See, I keep trying to tell Jess that we need a boa constrictor. She's not having it.
Ever since the state fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did not look happy in that state fair photo.
No, she about psyched herself out. It was
That
awesome.
shit was sizing her up for sure. Are you
Oh, it was
kidding
only
me?
80 pounds.
Oh, only 80 pounds, Robbie.
The other one was 130. Now
You're-
that's a snake.
Your dog will keep you safe.
That's what I'm saying.
Yancey wouldn't let anything bad happen to you.
No.
Realistically, it's going to eat the dog first, and then it's a problem.
Then it's a problem.
Then you gotta
It's
get
all
rid
about
of it. Yeah,
it's all
that's a
about the
good point.
warning sign.
Yeah, so
Right.
if anything, I should get a cat and a snake. So he'll eat the cat
There
first,
you go.
and then I know.
There you can get an expendable pet you don't care about.
Like a rabbit or a guinea
There
pig.
you go.
Because nobody cares about guinea pigs.
Like get a ferret. Those things are miserable.
Ferrets are fun. Hamsters and
Nah,
guinea pigs,
ferrets
not
are
fun.
assholes. What?
It smells so bad.
That's worth it.
Dude, they're mean.
No, they're not.
They're like chihuahuas, except
I have
Like long
and
long
skinny.
boys.
Yeah, but they're funny as shit, man. They run sideways.
My cat
make
looks
funny
like a
sounds.
ferret.
Yeah.
Coney.
What other weird animals do they have in Australia?
No, let's keep asking questions.
Oh, no,
We're
we'll
gonna be
get
like
to
the
Just
rest
ask
of
them
my
a
life.
question.
All right, hold on a second. Derek wants
Platypus. Platypus is probably the weirdest.
to know.
animal,
Ooh,
I
platypus.
think.
That is a weird animal.
That is a weird animal.
I don't have a picture for that one yet.
Has James ever tried SRF in iRacing?
I have not. No. The Spec Racer Ford community says it doesn't really drive the same as the Spec Racer Ford. It seems to be a little bit more tail happy and spin happy than the actual Spec Racer Ford itself. So
And that's super frustrating. On
That's kind of
Sims.
how I
Yeah,
feel
it is.
about sim cars in general.
Yeah, you can't feel anything.
yeah, it's hard because a lot of this stuff is through your butt. You're really feeling what the car is doing. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Dustin, and I'm paraphrasing again. How do you manage to shift with your left hand? I'm assuming you never drove in Australia.
No, I did. I grew up.
Oh, you
down
did?
in
Okay.
Australia, so
I thought
yeah,
weren't you in Germany for a while?
Yeah,
I
like
was
college.
in Germany for So
Oh, I thought
we
you.
get-
I thought as a teenager you went to Germany.
No, that was my post grad stuff.
Oh,
so.
fair enough. Okay, so how do you manage to shift with your left hand? Is the clutch on the right side there since everything is backwards?
So the pedals are the same. The clutch is on the inside, and then you're actually. I'm used to. I actually prefer shifting with my left hand because then my stronger hand, which is my right hand, is on the wheel. So it was a bit of adjustment in the US more to do the other way, but the pedals are the same. I think there is like a Ferrari where there's different pedals like back in the 50s, but other than that, all the cars pretty much have the same pedals. So
I want to drive a right-hand drive car because I'm like exceedingly left-handed,
Yes,
like
painfully
cripplingly
left-handed.
and so that'd be great for me. I think.
I didn't get to drive a manual one, but I did get to drive a right-hand drive car. It's weird.
Yes.
Was it a Porsche?
No,
Oh,
it was a BMW though. It's weird. The turning is weird, and then you go to a different country, you're on the wrong side of the road, and then you've got roundabouts, and you've got multi-lane roundabouts. It starts getting a little bit
Yeah.
iffy.
because England loves their roundabouts.
And you get a double
the
roundabout.
The double roundabouts are better than stop signs or traffic.
Hell
They
yeah,
actually
I'm
flow more
200% with
traffic.
you. I'm 200% with you, but America is filled with idiots.
I actually really like roundabouts. It's just
Nobody knows how to drive
when
them.
you're not in your normal, like you're kind of, you rely on muscle memory to some extent, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
and all that experience, and then all of a sudden now everything's opposite, so you're kind of like, which side of the road am I supposed to be on when I get on the road that I am going to? You just start questioning those things.
Or if
Yeah.
you're
So when I go back with family, the hard part is pulling out of a parking space, like parallel, not parallel parked, but like when you're 90 degrees and you pull out and you're like, which side am I supposed to be? And then you go, okay, yeah,
That's right. You gotta like turn out the other way, wouldn't you?
You got to look at the road signs.
yeah.
Are they
Well, it's
facing you,
kinda
or are they away from you?
Yeah. The driver's always on the inside of the road,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So that's how you remember. But yeah, it is a little bit of a trip going back, but it comes back to you pretty quick. So
Trying to figure out if there's a way that I could make this question more
Reasonable.
reasonable.
I got a picture.
Maybe I'll
for it,
just
I'm
read
sure.
it and then you answer the reasonable part. Is that
all
fair?
right, let's
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
Chris would like to know, do engines run backwards in Australia? I mean, I suppose any engine could run backwards compared to any other engine.
Technically, yeah. I mean, technically, there's probably some type of engine that somewhere that does run backwards. It may not be in Australia.
Okay.
It's called reverse.
All right, so the next part,
Duh.
the next
the
part
engine goes
is
backwards.
yeah. When you go into reverse, the engine goes the other direction.
absolutely.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
That's how you save
All right.
gas.
All right. Anyway, so
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I just got to read it. How does an imaginary person from an imaginary country located on an imaginary continent end up in America working for NASA who plant fake birds throughout our country and racing spec racer Ford cars? That's one question mark. So I guess that's one question.
Yeah.
Here, I'll paraphrase. How did you get
here?
And why do you work for NASA? And why do you race spec racer Ford?
Okay, I'm going to split it up into two questions: how I got here, and then how I started spec racer Ford. So, I was over in Europe, in Germany in particular, when I was doing my postgrad studies, and then there was the International Space University that has a summer session, and that was in France at the time. And while I was at that 9-week course, I met the center director of the NASA center that's out here in California, and was working on one of his projects there. And he asked if I wanted to come out to visit here in California and present some materials. And then they asked if I wanted to come work in California at NASA. And, as a kid growing up in Australia that didn't have a space agency at the time, when someone asks you if you want to come work at NASA, you're not really going to say no. So I said yes. So that's a short story on how that happened. Yeah, so that's been kind of cool. I was pretty lucky. I was in the right spot at the right time, and it just happened to work out. So that kind of worked out.
It's just kind of cool, guys. It's fine.
It's okay.
He just puts things in space. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I'm at a point though where I'm at the government and I'm in a lot of meetings too. So I'm kind of in a leadership technical position. So, I don't get to turn a lot of the screws or assemble the spacecrafts anymore. So,
were you doing that at one point? Putting shit together?
I did. Yeah. Early on, that was cool. And that stuff flew into space, and that was really, fulfilling, but a lot of why I do the engine build stuff and the racing stuff and work on my own race car is because I miss that being able to do things with my hands from a mechanical mind, so
I get that.
Are you Dr. James Chartres?
I am. I don't often.
I didn't know that. I didn't think about that.
I was kind of wondering, because he was talking about post-grad stuff, and I'm like, I bet he's a fucking doctor, isn't he?
Yeah.
So can you write me doctor notes so I can get out of work and stuff like that? Right?
Different kind of doctor.
Nah, I mean, doctor's a doctor. I mean,
yeah, I can't write you prescriptions. That's probably the big difference. So, so I guess the second part of that question, how I got started in spec racer Ford, I was looking for a class that was cost-effective, reasonably to run, and there was a lot of competition and a lot of racing. I was really focused on wanting to get better and race against people rather than just drive laps. And so out here on the West Coast, there's I was looking at Formula V because the cars are quite cheap to get into, but there wasn't a lot of racers. You maybe get maybe 3 or 5 a weekend, if that. And then the other option was Spec Miata, and that group can have 30 to 50 cars out here, and then Spec Racer Ford was about the same, 30 to 50 cars. Being the engineer that I am, and running Excel sheets and stuff, it worked out that although the Miata was cheaper to initially buy into, crash damage and overall running costs, it was going to work out to be the Spec Racer Ford. And I also didn't want to spend a lot of money, getting the hot motor or getting the hot part or the, specialty, lighter just to run at the front. And so that's kind of why I gravitated towards Spec Racer Ford from the outset. And then since then, it's been a great community of people. A lot of people have helped me, early days, giving me data to see how to go faster, helping me with the car, lots of advice from people, and so I really enjoy the people I'm running with, and the car is it's purpose built for racing. It does use a lot of OEM type parts, and there are some custom parts and stuff, but a lot of those parts are available at the track always, and so I never really miss a race at the track. It's very rare. And then maintenance-wise, it's pretty reasonable car to maintain. So there's lots of people that just do it themselves, or lots of people with a small team, or anywhere from Rive and Drive drivers that run out of a shop. So it's really, in terms of SCCA on the West Coast racing, it's really a good option, just for if you really want to go wheel-to-wheel racing,
I can't believe that you get 30 to 50 cars in one class field.
Yeah,
and around here, like getting 30 to 50 cars at an event is a pretty good day.
Yeah, we're like a super region though. The San Francisco region is one of the bigger SCCA regions, and on the West Coast, we have some like really killer tracks, like WeatherTech Racing, Laguna Seca, Thunder Hills, Sonoma, and so we have people that come down from Oregon, and we have people that come up from LA, San Diego area for like those races, and so that's really a big pull to get people out here. But I mean, even on the East Coast, I think you see the same thing. It's just a matter of population density and number of people.
Most of what it is population density.
Yeah, so so for me it worked out great. For other places, there may be other cars that are a bit better class that I highly recommend a class that has a lot more cars in it, because when you start out, you are pretty much going to be at the back, and you're going to have to learn as you go. And it's frustrating when you're just driving laps around by yourself but if you've got other people to race with, it's a lot more fun. The best races I have are when I'm battling people, not when I'm just like driving around fast as I can kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Derek would like to know what got you into cars in the first place.
That's a good question. So as a kid, Adelaide used to host the Formula One racing. So Adelaide was the Formula One race of Australia before it moved to Melbourne. And so just before Christmas, I think it was around like November, December, there was always the Formula One racing in Adelaide. And I think, that kind of attracted me to it. And then, so like I was always building like Lego cars. I was always, playing around with cars. I think my granddad built us a garage for like Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, and so we were like, playing with that. And then as I grew up in high school and stuff, a lot of my buddies had, older Japanese sports cars, and we used to go riding around in those, and that was a lot of fun. So I think from there, I kind of always liked space, and I always liked cars, and that kind of, turned me into car guy, I guess. And then, when I finally got to the stage where I had enough money, and I could put it into going racing, it was a natural fit. So,
okay, I gotta skip some questions, otherwise we won't be able to answer the real questions.
We're gonna be all night.
We're gonna be here all night. Jimmy, sorry, I'm skipping your question. Scott, I don't know what this one means, so I'm just gonna read it. If you could race in any other class, why would it be Spec Pinata?
Oh, Spec Pinata.
I think people call Spec Pinata Spec Miata.
Pinata?
Yes.
Spec Pinata.
Oh,
sometimes.
You kind of answered that question already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get called smash racers because pretty much every race there's like some sort of contact, and some races there's like a massive pile up on their first lap. So we often get called smash racers by the corner workers. So.
Rude. Justin would like to know your 1-year goal, rest of 2019 and 2020, 5-year goal, and ultimate goal for SRF and Flash Racing. That's
a good question. I think this was about the point where I stopped reading them after some of those the conspiracy question.
I think they get better. The questions are less conspiracy-y as we keep going.
Then we talk about kangaroo eggs, which I don't think are a thing. Question mark.
No, Adam.
All right, I'm gonna wait till we get there, I guess.
Yes, that's fine.
So for this year, I'm just doing the regional championship. So I decided not to do any of the national events. Last year was a really expensive year for me. I upgraded the car and I did the runoffs, and those were 2 big budget hits. And so I'm just focused on the regional championship. So I think, this will come out on Sunday. So we will have just finished our race weekend at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So thank you to all the people that came out and said hello. And then after that, we have one race weekend left. But this year they made it a triple race weekend and double points. So basically, it's worth 6 races of the season. And so, like, it makes it like an 18 race season points wise, and that weekend is worth a third of the season.
That's
so
crazy.
Like, I have to do really well in that weekend in order to move up in the points. And right now, I think I'm like 7th or 8th in the points, and so I'd like to, try and get up there and see. I think I'm getting faster every time, and so I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's like this year. Next year, I'm still looking at options. I'm probably going to stay in the spec racer forward, but 5 years from now, I'm not sure. I've been wondering about trying some different cars and seeing if I could learn some more things from like trying out like a Formula Mazda or something else. Just to try something different. But 5 years from now, who knows what they're going to be doing? But I'm hoping, if I really, if I could find the time and balance work life and all my other hobbies, 5 years from now, hopefully the Datsun engine build is done. That thing's been going for a while, and I'm enjoying driving the Datsun a little bit more. But also, I'm hoping like maybe I've grown Kanga Motorsports to a point where I can afford to focus on it a bit more from a business sense, and maybe like maybe I don't work full time, but I do half and half, or I start to transition. That would be like an ultimate goal, but I'd love to be able to do that. But I also do like working my job, and I do like interacting with the things I get to do at work. So it's hard to give up sometimes too. So
working on spaceships seems pretty
all right.
pretty cool.
It doesn't sound the worst.
All right.
Daniel would like to know, stack rank Aussie national treasures: Steve Irwin, Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Ricciardo, and Bananas in Pajamas. That's Australian.
Oh, bananas in pajamas.
I remember that.
Apparently, he knows what you're talking about.
Is that Australian?
I don't know what it is.
It's like a kids show from way back.
It's a kids show. Yeah, it's a kids show.
I wouldn't know.
They're bananas in their pajamas.
They sing and dance.
Yeah, they're coming down the stairs.
Yeah, I remember that.
All righty then. I'll have to look it up and see how Logan likes it.
I'll let you YouTube that tonight, Adam.
Your kid will love it.
I'm sure he will. It'll be another thing
Yeah,
my girlfriend
I think he will.
hates.
Yeah, your kid will probably actually really love it.
So I think most people would recognize Steve Irwin the most, but
Yeah, but where's your stack ranking, not people?
stack ranking.
How do you place these Australian treasures?
So Steve Irwin, Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Ricciardo.
Crocodile Dundee.
That's
That's
Paul Hogan.
American.
No, Paul Hogan's Australian.
Yeah, but the movie was an American movie.
It's kind of an American movie.
But he's still
Do
a
Australians
national
not
treasure.
like Paul Hogan?
So he was really big in Australia for a while there because he did a lot for tourism. I think those movies helped really kickstart off a lot of
I'm
Australian
sure.
tourism. And I think it was also at the time where like the planes were, flying to Australia where they had enough performance that it wasn't like multi-stop flights or something like that.
The weird thing is Jason Ellis was just talking about this at length. Paul Hogan. So I know way too much about Paul Hogan now. Apparently he was kind of a comedian
Yeah.
in Australia
Yeah.
before the whole movie thing. And
If you believe it, Eric Bana used to do stand-up.
oh, that's right, Eric
well.
Bana. Yeah, I forgot. Eric
Yeah.
Bana's up there for me. I like
Yeah, I
Eric
would
Bana.
have put him on my list of people.
Yeah, he used to be like a late-night stand-up comedian, and then like all of a sudden he was this Hollywood actor. It was like the weirdest trip. I don't know. So Danny Ricciardo's, you gotta love the racing side of it.
He seems like such a cool dude too.
Yeah, I think Chris Hemsworth would be a great guy to hang out with. He seems pretty blokey.
Thank you for using that term.
Steve Irwin who was the last one?
Steve Irwin was the last one. Hugh Jackman ended up
Being mentioned
on the list as well.
Yeah. That's hard. I mean, I think Hugh Jackman would be cool to hang out with too. I think he likes cars as well. So if I was car ranking them, I think it's Danny Ricciardo, Hugh Jackman, maybe Chris Hemsworth. Steve Irwin's down, but bananas in pajamas. That's hard to beat. There's a lot of good memories.
Is that Australian?
I didn't realize that.
I remember watching it as a kid.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
So it's got to be Bananas in Pajamas first,
right? Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we'll get to the racing car.
Yeah. Who cares about that crap?
There's new ones, cartoons.
There's new ones. See, they reinvent everything nowadays.
Yeah,
So.
I remember when they were people in costumes.
Now they're animated.
They're coming down the stairs, right?
Yeah, they're coming down.
Bananas in pajamas coming down the stairs.
Oh god, that looks like the worst.
It was the best.
But people like the song. The song's catchy. I remember that part of the song. I don't know what the rest of it is.
Nope.
Don't know.
I don't even know where I saw it.
I don't know any of this. This is all new to me.
This is like the conversations me and my wife have from time to time where I bring up something that she's never, ever heard of. And we go down watching some YouTube things and she does not know why this is a thing.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
About daily.
Yeah. I saw like a 190E Mercedes Benz on my way here and I was kind of freaking out about it. And Katie's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's just a stupid square Mercedes.
It's just so ugly. I'm like, I know it's rad.
Daniel asked, there's a repeat question in here. Let's see here. Did you do any auto racing in Australia? And how does it compare to the United States? And then his follow-up question is, what's worse, fixing robot birds or dealing with the lizard people? And I personally would think it's the lizard people.
Oh,
man,
absolutely.
because, dude,
they sound awful.
the Zuck is super sketchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I think, the lizard people is probably got to be harder because the robots, you can just kind of turn them off.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you're fixing them, they're already broken, so they're kind of probably off anyway. So it's got to be the lizard people.
Even if they're not off, they're at least appreciative because you're fixing them, right?
Yeah. What was the first part of that?
The real question.
Did you do any auto racing in Australia? And if so, what are the differences?
So I didn't really do any auto racing in Australia. I was kind of a poor student at the time, but I did do Formula SAE in Australia. And so that was probably as close as I got to some auto racing. So I was like the suspension team lead in our year of Formula SAE. So
how'd you guys do?
Okay. I think we did really well in the design aspect, but we didn't do as well in the performance kind of tests. It was only our second year as a university of doing that. And so there was a pretty steep learning curve between the two. So
yeah, that makes sense. I remember when we talked to them, they draw out a lot on it's this car was originally built 6 years ago and we've just been refining it ever since.
Yeah, we had we only did it in the last year. So the whole team was new to it every year and it was kind of weird. And the team that was before, they had graduated and had real jobs and things to do, so you didn't really get to talk to them much. But a couple of them came in from time to time, but you didn't have that multi-year program like a lot of the people do now. So
we might have to go into lightning round.
All
but
right,
normal people lightning round.
Not my lightning round?
Not Adam's lightning round.
I'll just stay quiet.
Okay. I'm going to try to condense this. There's some good stuff in here, but it's a lot of content.
Right.
So what's your approach to choosing which events you travel to? Is it points, qualifying for national, or budget?
A bit of all three. So last year was qualifying for national and then getting ready for the runoffs, which were local. It was at Sonoma Raceway. And then this year I knew I wasn't doing the national, so I just focused on the regional points. And then budget's always a factor, part of what I do with all the sponsors and partners is so I could do a few more events every year. So
that was from Josh. Dusty would like to know, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. I guess that's those long questions. What do we do?
It's 6 words, man.
I'll just read it. This may vary from group to group, but I run time trials in SCCA right now and haven't seen a clear path to get from that to a class like SRF. Is it as simple as renting a car from a comp school and just jumping in, or am I missing a step?
No, rent a car and go to comp school and just jump straight in. So I rented and did a test day beforehand, and I had my comp school from Skip Barber at the time. But I'd say your best bet is to go with an SCCA comp school and just rent a car. And often there are spec racer forwards for rental all across the U.S. So that, just jump in and do it. It'll be a steep learning curve, but at comp school everybody's learning. So and then once you get started, people will help you no matter what with spec racer forwards. So,
Joe would like to know, what are your long-term plans with the Datsun?
Good question. So finishing the engine build. So right now the engine that's in there is kind of like dilapidated and worn out, and so it smokes a lot, which means I don't get to run it on track. And so the whole part of doing an engine build was to learn about building engines and get back on track. I'd like the paint is less than desirable. It's a bit worn out. It sat under a cover that was not clean and it got all scratched up, and so the top coat of the paint is pretty terrible, so I'd like to get it repainted. But all the interior is real nice, so it's probably get the motor done, give it a paint, and then maybe look at doing some more suspension mods. But it has lowering springs and shocks, if you're wondering, Adam. So
there you go.
Shane, who's an Evo owner, would like to know
Jesus Christ,
Vegemite or Nutella, which those are not the same.
It's not even
the
like
same category. Like
no.
spreadable things. Yes, I'll
like
give you that.
butter
They're
or
dark colored.
jelly.
Yeah, you found a photo of somebody comparing Vegemite and Nutella.
Yes.
How long did you look for that?
Second.
The magic of Google.
I'm good.
So I don't like Vegemite, but my mother loves it. My wife actually doesn't mind it. But I would go Nutella. So
I've never had.
I got it. Yeah, we should get
like?
some. We
Never
should get
had
some.
Vegemite.
I can ship you guys some if you want.
Do
I
it.
don't really want you to.
You have
but-
to now.
Send us one and we'll eat it on the show.
Yep.
All right. That's my to-do list.
It's very salty,
I was
isn't
gonna
it?
say it's really salty.
Yeah, it's like yeast extract. So
That sounds
It might be all right. We'll get some crackers. It'll be fine.
I'll bring some Javi refresher to wash.
There we go. That'll make it all fine.
gross.
Max would like to know, if the moon was made out of spare ribs, would you eat it?
probably because they're probably being cooked real well up in the sun without any atmosphere. So
Good answer. Joseph would like to know, Tim Tams or Oreos?
no contest, Tim Tams.
Thank you.
What's a Tim Tam?
It's a little snack,
What?
snacky
All right, I'm
cakey
gonna
thing.
send you Tim Tams and Vegemite.
No,
Yeah,
we got Tim Tams here. I've had them in this house.
I don't have Tim Tams. Bring them.
No. I'll bring Tim Tams. I got
Chocolate,
the Tim
which means
Tams.
I'm not eating it anyway.
All right. But I wouldn't recommend doing them at the same time.
We're gonna do them at the same time.
Don't do Vegemite on
We're
Tim
gonna
Tams.
spread
Got
out
it.
on the Tim Tam. It'll be great.
Justin would like to know, are kangaroo eggs better scrambled or poached?
So kangaroos are marsupials. They do not have eggs.
Right.
Soup eels.
Scott would like to know, if you could import any Aussie spec vehicle, what would it be?
A ute.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think you guys don't have the utes. You know, other than some old El Caminos, yeah, you got to have some performance utes. So,
But like a good one.
Yeah.
But the real cool thing about Australia is because we are, other side of the road driving, we get all the Japanese great imports. And so you get some of the cool cars that never came to the US, like the GTRs and like weird spec Japanese cars. And that's some of the cool stuff.
Yes.
Don't even get Robbie started.
I don't want to talk about it.
Trevor would like to know, if you could choose any racing series to be a part of, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I really love IndyCar right now. I think I really like watching the IndyCar more now than I do like watching the Formula One. So I think IndyCar is kind of on the uptick, and it would be really fun to do. But the stadium super trucks, that's gotta be a crazy drive.
We saw the price, Robbie.
I did. see
Yeah,
the
I
price.
saw that price and I was like, oh, maybe.
20 gur.
Yeah, like
Per
I gotta
race.
talk. I
Yeah.
gotta talk to
travel.
my 10/10 podcast sponsors and see if they can put me up for it.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
might
I'm
be-
signing all of us up.
Yeah, I might,
80 gur.
Here we go.
No worries.
we'll do it Nicky Lauda style.
Yeah, so I think that looks like the most fun series to compete in right now. But like if you're racing for like improving your skills and abilities, there's lots of different options out there. But I think if someone came in today and said you could race anything, what do you want to race? I'd try the Stadium Super Trucks, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I get that.
Right on. That's it.
Yay.
All right.
Let's do some news.
Presented by Apex Pro.
Apex Pro, apextrackcoach.com. 10 cents at checkout for the free windshield mount. Check that out.
They got the new OBD2 interface.
They do.
So it has all the info on your phone as well,
Yep.
plus all the other data.
Additional telemetry and data for your post race.
Yes.
So check that out. It is cool. It is available as a standalone unit. So if you just want the OBD2 interface, you can get that. So,
big fan of my Apex Pro, and obviously James is too, based on his times.
Yeah, I mean it's helped me, and I wrote up an article about how I've used it, so I think some people saw that. So I think key to it is it's not like every other data system. It's really learning what the lights mean, and then once you understand what the lights mean, then you know. But it's like instant feedback, which is great, because other data systems you kind of have to download and then try and work out what's going on after the fact. So.
Yeah, it was way easier to use, like even after the fact, because you have it on your phone instead of having to download it to a laptop and then sift through it from there. It was just right there on your phone. It was even after the fact, off the track, it was easier to use. So,
all right, first news item: F1 is putting together some aero changes for 2021.
Hell yeah!
Ground effects are back, people.
Love it.
Let's do this.
And they're going to 18-inch wheels.
I put this in here just for James.
Yeah, I saw that the ground effects is I think a big thing. They're trying to take the aero off the wings, which is what really messes up the airflow for the car behind, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see what different teams do with the ground effects and the diffusers. But there's so many changes all at the same time, so it's going to be hard to tell if the aerodynamics is really the big change, or these tires are going to change too, which is a huge difference. So
I think it'll be a fun year though, because it might actually give some of these mid-pack teams a chance. Obviously they're not going to be front runners, but it might give them a chance to shake up some of that mid-pack and maybe make some things more interesting, because maybe somebody was a little more right than somebody else. It could be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, anytime there's a reset, you often see a change of the guard kind of thing,
right,
who's on top and who's doing well in the mid pack, and so you kind of see some crazy solutions that really catapult them forward, and then it kind of balances out after a year or two. So
it's just another chance for McLaren to fuck it all up.
They're doing better this year, though, if you look at the points.
Yeah, but I think the Honda powered cars have proven that it wasn't the motor.
Yep, I'd say the scapegoating wasn't quite right there.
No, I think Red Bull's proved that wrong.
Yeah.
So, and it's good. It's good to see Honda back and winning. I think it's good.
It's cool.
Good for them as a brand and a company. So,
but I think the diffusers, they had a rendering of one of the cars and what they think it may look like, and there was the huge diffuser coming out of the back of the Formula One car. Looks so fucking rad.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
I like the way the new ones are potentially going to look.
I think they might. Well, they'll look better. I think it'll be, because I think the complicated wing structures that they got going on,
kind of annoying.
And I'm even an aero nerd, and so I enjoy that kind of stuff. But it's really, really disjointed and doesn't look good.
No, I agree.
And I think these giant diffusers coming out of the back of the cars look cool. That to me seems more race car.
Yeah, there was a comment in this article on Jalopnik about how it doesn't make sense to ask fans how they think the car should look, and I think that's absurd. None of it works if nobody watches. You just shut the series down and people stop watching. So, yes, the penis-nosed cars was a bad idea.
Come on now. Maybe it was a big hit with
the ladies.
Apparently not, because they bitch about the fact they have no female or viewership all the time.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
But yeah, you can't just to your point, how the car looks is important to how people perceive the series.
Yeah, and those wild, crazy, complex wing structures, they just don't work visually, and aero cars can look cool and perform well at the same time. They don't have to be such weird-looking monstrosities. So.
Yeah, I mean, F1's always been the pinnacle of engineering for a while too. So it's hard, they're trying to take away aspects from the engineering side. So it's it's kind of hard. I mean, they also talked about trying to spec out certain parts. So we'll see. We'll see what the rules bring, and the cost cap is probably the biggest thing I saw in that article. So
yeah, that's
limiting R&D time and costs,
but they've kind of done that already.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't just have open testing. You can't just
then they go.
You can't just run your car whenever you want. You can't just rent a track for a day and just burn some laps in to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's just transitioned to simulations. I mean, it really probably in all reality in the long run is more expensive.
Probably.
But
Yeah, I think they basically took testing away, and then they put all the money into simulation and wind tunnel time, and that's
right.
likely more expensive than testing.
I also think that like requiring such few engines during a season is more expensive because it costs so much more money to make an engine perform at that level reliably for that long time.
Yeah.
You know,
it was entertaining to see like a qualifying engine that would last, and then but
I think there's a happy medium.
Crazy.
There's a happy medium there.
Yeah, seeing those turbos blow up all the time in qualifying, that was fun, but there was also a lot of money.
Yeah, happy mediums.
I kind of like how they're taking away the interactions and the telemetry between the coach or the engineers and the driver during the race, and potentially taking away more electronic controls.
Yeah, that was interesting to see because there's a giant engineering team behind that. So it's like, are they, reducing the workforce, or are those workforces just gonna like try and glean more information out of different telemetry fields?
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it so that the driver means something. So you can't just put any fucking idiot in that car and then push.
They can weld his foot to the floor. And
Exactly. You put enough electronics in that car, you don't need a driver.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the direction they've been going. So it'd be nice to just go back. Get rid of the ABS, get rid of the...
See, I still think that, like, even the worst Formula One driver in today's Formula One would absolutely destroy you in any vehicle you put him in.
Fuck yeah.
He's, like, even the worst, shittiest driver that you can pick is still way better than any of us could ever dream of being.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not sure that really, like, is detracting from the driver.
No.
It's just making the car faster.
It gives the driver the control. So if the driver makes a mistake, it's going to make for better racing.
Well,
I think the big thing that makes for better racing is being able to like pass and like get up next to a car. That's huge. I think because if you can race, you can it's not just like as soon as you get behind them, you can't get past them because it kills your tires.
Right.
I just hate that so many races are won and lost in pit strategy. So that's the most boring way to race I can possibly think of.
Yep.
I don't care what they have to do to fix that problem, but that's what they need to fix.
Yeah, I'm hoping the tires and the ground effects can really be a big part of that.
Yeah, I think the ground effects stuff will be cool. So,
right on. Solar panel roads, they don't work.
No. Say it isn't so.
I'm sorry.
We can't maintain asphalt
regular roads. Yeah.
Why did we think we could maintain roads that are multitudes of 10 more expensive?
Look how nice the road is next to it, though. So that's a nice fucking road.
This is a nice fucking road.
That's what I'm saying. We need that road. Our roads look like that for 3 days.
Yeah,
not very long.
Maximum.
Like if they make it in June, it looks like that until October-ish.
Maybe.
If you're
and
lucky.
then they run the snowplows over it and it's gone.
Yeah, it's over.
My favorite part is that they test run those roads in a place that wasn't very sunny. Like they like stacked it against themselves.
Come on, man.
Don't put it in Arizona or anything, they stacked it against themselves.
Yeah, they should have put it in Nevada where nobody drives. Well, look how great. It's working great.
Yeah. Let's make our roads out of glass. That'll work well.
Well, the weird thing is it's got some weird epoxy on the top of it, and that didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't last either.
Weird. It's just, and then not only did it not last
so this. Oh, we should back up for 1 second. They did build one. They actually built this road.
Yep.
In France.
In France.
Right. And it was one. I think it was how long was it?
Not very long.
Yeah, it was 1 kilometer, and part of it failed.
Right. Almost immediately.
Oh, it was near Normandy. That's right.
Almost immediately failed, and then I don't think they ever even bothered to fix it.
No, they put asphalt in, did they?
Because
they probably couldn't. Yeah. And it cost $5.2 million for the 1 kilometer.
And when it was all said and done, at the end of the test run, it made fractions of what they had hoped to make for power on the whole thing.
I think it cost probably 10 times as much.
Not only does it not work well as a road, but it didn't work well as a solar panel either.
No.
Actually, they probably would have been better off putting a solar panel that was 1 kilometer long next to the road.
Or over the road or something.
On top of the road. There you go. Yeah, put it on top of the road.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Did they run out of roofs? There weren't enough roofs anymore.
There's a lot of roof out there. I don't get it, man. But that all of this was government funded. Yeah. All of this, and
oh yeah, absolutely.
And I understand
it says the French government in here multiple times.
And we know how much Michael loves the French government.
Yeah, we freed you guys from the Germans, Normandy especially.
Yeah, but I understand that big projects like this and big development leaps in technology oftentimes have to be funded by the government. I get that, but I feel like we should have known that this wasn't going to work ahead of time.
Oh, this one's the real kicker. So it's so loud from the tires on it that they had to slow the speed limit down to 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, 45 miles an hour.
Is it actually miles per hour? What do they really turn down?
No, it was 70 kph.
Okay, thank you. Just want to.
It does say miles per hour.
I know.
The French don't use miles per hour.
But I think it's 70 kph.
Okay.
Which is about 45.
Wait, James, does Australia use miles per hour?
Kilometers.
Why does England use miles per hour?
I'm not English. I couldn't tell you.
Do they use meters?
Yeah, everything else is metric except for miles.
We use the metric system. I mean, even the people that invented the British or the imperial standard have decided that, hey, yeah, that probably wasn't the right thing. Let's switch over.
Except for the miles.
Except for miles per hour.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't think about it too much.
So
it does bother me.
So when you buy a wheel there or a tire.
When you buy a wheel or a tire here, it's still 225, right?
Right, but it's a 15-inch.
Yeah, so the wheels are all in inches, and then the tires are in.
Oh, bitch!
Well, the hard thing is the 225, 60, 16. The 60 is a ratio. It's not a it's not a measurement.
Yeah. So it's the percentage of the
sidewall
tread width in sidewall.
Yes,
60% of the tread width is how tall the sidewall is.
Yep.
But I mean, go to US cars. The Ford don't put imperial bolts on their motors. All their motors are metric. So
yeah,
yep.
Our race car, it was based off of a French Renault and other parts, and their motor and transmission is Ford Mazda based.
It's a
and then other parts of it are French Renault. So all that stuff's metric. And then all the suspension stuff that's custom made in the US, that's all imperial. So you got to have both sets of tools.
Dude, that's how my Camaro was.
Frustrating.
My Camaro was a mixed bag.
Why?
Because GM was in the middle of transitioning, yeah. And I don't know if it's because Fisher made the body.
I wonder why they transitioned to metric bolt system.
They must have thought that they were
in Europe.
Yeah, they must have been thinking they were going international. They just wanted to standardize the whole lineup.
So we admit that this is wrong, but we just can't change it.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Got that one Imperial bolt on the Porsche though, so it's all in the service log. I put in there that it is Imperial.
That's gonna take away from it, man.
Yeah,
I just want the next guy to know.
Knock a zero.
I just want the next guy to know he's gonna have to buy a whole other set of wrenches just to get that one bolt out. I'm not gonna tell him what size it is.
He'll just use a pair of pliers or something.
He probably will.
He won't do it.
Yeah, that's true. His mechanic will. His mechanic will be pissed because he's got to buy new tools.
The fuck is this?
All right, that was a bad idea.
Weird.
Speaking of bad ideas, an 8-year-old takes a car for his second Autobahn joyride in 1 week. So I didn't read the title very carefully.
Okay.
And I started to read the article, and it said that he was caught doing 110 miles an hour. And I said, no. I know that he was not caught doing 110 miles an hour. It was 86 miles an hour because Michael Tolley was just talking about this. FYI, everybody that has XM now has the app on their phone. You just have to pay for it.
Yep.
Now it's available, and else is on demand.
Oh,
so
that's
I don't listen to podcasts anymore. Fuck podcasts. Anyway, so you can listen to Ellis on demand on Sirius XM. So anyway, I'm like, they just talked about this. He was not doing 110 miles an hour.
It's 86.
That's insane. 86 and 110 are two vastly different speeds. Yeah. Oh no, wait. He did it for the second time within a week.
It's because the first time they're just like, hey,
don't do that again.
Let's not do that again, buddy. You're not gonna get in too much. We're not mad. We're just disappointed. So we went and did it again.
So he's in Germany in a VW Golf. We can probably assume that it's a diesel. He was hauling ass. He was on it.
Straight booking. That bad boy. That's got to be the top of its speed capability. 110.
That's
And a
pretty up
diesel
there.
Golf, I would think that you're pretty
That's
far up
scooting
there.
along.
Didn't he stop because he hit something?
Yeah, he crashed in the parking lot.
Oh no.
Yeah, you ran into something in a parking lot.
He ran.
Damn
He
it.
ran to a trailer that was parked.
We've all been there.
By the way, I can
When
tell
we
you
were
the
eight.
diesel Jettas go much faster than 110.
I forgot about that.
Great.
For the record, the diesel Jetta goes well above 110.
All right, Alex Roy.
Allegedly.
Just relax.
Allegedly.
Relax, Alex Roy.
I think the
Statute of limitations on that is long gone.
Well over. He's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, he is a very young child. Could you imagine
know.
Logan in 5 years doing that?
Dude, I don't. That would be like one of the hardest
Disciplinary things you ever had to do?
Yeah. Because, like, deep down inside, I want to be proud of him, but I'm still pissed about
Can
it.
you? That might be too young, but is there a point with a kid where you could sit down and go, "Listen, don't ever fucking do that again"? But
I get it.
I get it.
Well,
Is there ever a point where you can have that conversation with a child?
I feel like that's very child dependent
Okay.
because I have coworkers who I can't do that with.
True.
I have
yeah.
employees that I manage that I can't do that with now, and they're in their 30s.
Or maybe you just say like, "Hey, man, we just the way it is, we can't do that."
Right.
I'm not saying it's not cool.
Keep that shit
I'm not
on.
saying,
Keep that shit
I'm
on
not
the
saying that
racetrack.
like I get it. You want to go fast. Like,
yeah,
I totally
super
get it,
fast.
dude.
As my kid says all the time, I want to go super fast.
This is not the way. Let's find a different way. How about that?
Well, I mean, he was racing karts.
He was racing carts.
Yeah, I mean it was his parents' fault. Let's be real here.
Yeah, he Ricky Bobbied his way
Fuck yeah,
up.
I'm
That's
proud
what
of
he was
this
up
kid
to.
because he's not my kid. I'm proud of him.
Yep. If it was my kid, we'd be in trouble.
But
Yeah,
okay, so
absolutely.
if your kid if Logan stole your car,
Okay.
got in trouble. I'm not really in trouble, but the
Hand-
police
hand
found him.
slapped it.
The police found him.
Yeah.
Do you think, possibly, especially right after the incident, that you would be like mindful of him stealing your car again?
Maybe put the keys
Dude,
a little higher.
There's a 0% chance he's going to get my car twice in 1 week.
That's
if
what I'm saying.
you're asking. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how did it happen?
Yeah.
How did it possibly happen
There
twice?
is absolutely some negligence on the parents. As they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yes.
And that's absolutely the case here. There's definitely some negligence on the parents,
The sad part is they're making him go to counseling.
which isn't going to help.
No.
Well, that
Can't-
makes me wonder if, like,
You can't counsel an 8-year-old.
well, but it starts to make me feel sad because now I wonder if he just has, like, really bad parents. Like, that's why they're making him go to counseling.
I mean, they got him a
maybe.
go-kart. How bad can they be?
Yeah, no kidding.
They let him steal their car.
I never got a go kart.
There's never an opportunity I can think of, like, why? No. Your kid should not be able to steal your car.
Dude,
like, ever.
I could have stolen
Yeah, how many?
any of the vehicles in my parents' fleet at any point in time that I had chose. I was just a good kid. But like,
No, but the reason you didn't do it is because your dad would beat your fucking ass.
beat the shit out.
I know
of
what I'm
me.
saying.
Would have bitch slapped me repeatedly.
Right.
It would have been terrible.
Right.
I would still be grounded now.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think the last part of that's a little sad. I think it's just really bad parenting.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lack of discipline in that family.
I don't know. Beats me.
Literally.
Not literally. The opposite of
Spank your children.
probably.
But
You
you
probably
think-
really can't say that now.
No.
I haven't heard that brought up in a long time.
Oh, it'll be brought up here soon, I'm sure.
It's coming
Always-
back around.
always
I'm
comes
sure.
back.
That was a couple years ago, or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
or whatever
Xavier
that-
Peterson took a switch to his kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he got suspended
When was that?
like 2 years ago.
Oh, I don't know. Hardly know who that is.
Football player.
Wasn't he the dog
Golf.
guy too?
American football.
Golf
Wasn't he
was
the
my
dog
guess.
guy too?
No, it's Michael Vick.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole different
My
thing.
bad. He should have been spanked for that, for sure.
Yeah, or hung in public, whatever.
To mess with Robbie's dogs.
No. That was sick fuck fights dogs.
Fights anything.
Especially a rich dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're already
Fights-
rich, man.
You could
Fights
pay
anything.
you could pay people to fight.
Yeah, it's called the UFC. It's
Yeah.
great.
People do it all the time.
That is great.
I don't know how you guys watch that without like
I love it.
crying a little
It's
bit.
the
inside.
greatest.
That one dude died. That was a boxer, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The boxer died
I
recently.
can't believe that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, he was like 28 and just kept fighting. His ring or his corner threw in the towel. Said, "Nah, you're done, man. You're too hurt." Died.
Yeah, that sucked having to watch his corner coach tell him, like, hey, man, you're
You-
done.
you gotta
You're
stop.
done.
You are
gotta,
hurt."
Yeah, he's like, you got to tell me to stop. Like, tell me it's time to stop. Like, this coach is telling him, he's like, dude, we're done.
Yep, you
say
cannot.
stop. Please say stop. Please say stop.
Yep. Like,
it was
what,
messed
2
up.
days later in the hospital?
Yeah.
Weird. I can't believe it doesn't happen more often.
No, to be honest, I can't either. What those people are doing to each other's brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Robbie and I had a skating buddy that had a brain injury, and that killed him more than 1 year later.
Yep.
How did that happen?
I think it was
skateboarding. And
No,
then
I mean,
just,
how did it get him later?
I think it was a brain aneurysm.
you just never woke up. Went to sleep totally
Went to
fine.
sleep
Had
one night.
plans like the next day.
Yep.
Never
Just
woke up.
never woke up the next morning. And they attributed it to that brain injury that put him in a coma.
So he had an aneurysm.
I think
while
that's
he was
probably
asleep.
what it was. Oh, he was in a coma for a while. Like, he was in a real bad shape.
Yeah,
And
for
then,
like the year
and then he
before.
got better. That was immediately following the injury.
Wow.
And then he was better. He was living in California. He moved back to Ames. And then, like, at least a year, if not closer to 2, one night he went to bed and never woke up.
Yep.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
No one saw it coming.
Nope. The skate park's dedicated to him in Ames now.
Never heard of that.
Like, it makes me, like the first time I went there and saw that when I was there with my kid a little while ago, it kind of made me tear up because, like, he was the coolest dude ever.
Yep. That might legitimately be the last visitation I've been to. No,
Yeah.
I've been to one since, but
That's it's so weird. And then you see people like, well, Jason Ellis crashing down megaverts and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, that guy's still alive.
hey, he's fine.
Seems fine. He's got maybe a little brain damage, but he's doing okay for himself. So what's the big deal?
Right.
Shit's wild.
It is weird. It's like that girl that fell in Indianola.
Yep.
All she did is she just fell.
Yep.
She wasn't even on it.
In Indianola is
Yep.
dedicated to her, too.
Yep.
That stuff's crazy.
That's not why I want a skate park dedicated to me.
No.
I want to do it because I, like, donated a large sum of money when I died or some shit.
He did a sick fucking 1080. Hell yeah, bro. We're gonna name this shit after you.
Robbie and I are going to start
Thanks,
a rollerblading
homie.
podcast. We're going to quit this car shit and go back to rollerblading.
God,
so much cheaper.
We used to think that was expensive. It's not.
So much cheaper, Robbie.
Wait, I got a question
And
for
you know
James.
what? I love it as much as I did.
James, because cars are terrible. What would you do as a different hobby?
Yeah, if cars weren't a thing, what would you do?
Oh, that's
Model
a good
airplanes.
question.
Tell me it was model airplanes.
So, I took a helicopter lesson one time,
Fuck
and then
yeah.
that was crazy expensive. So now the cars don't seem bad. Like,
Yeah,
I
life
think
is about
helicopters are like
perspective.
$300 and $400 an hour or something. So like, cars don't seem that bad,
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to do stuff with my hands, so maybe I'd
Nope.
learn to weld properly and make stuff that way or something.
Woodworking,
I
maybe? Like make some furniture or some shit, maybe?
yeah, I mean,
Basket weaving. something
Smell
cheap.
smell rich mahogany all
Dude,
the time. It'd
woodworking
be
would
great.
be dope.
Yeah.
Like if you really like if you could kind of get into it and get good at it,
It's fucking rad.
I'd have way too much furniture.
It's super cool.
You know what I mean?
I always feel like I drill the holes wrong though with wood, and then you're like, fuck,
That's just practice, though.
Yeah, so,
You'll get there.
But
Plus, it's way cheaper.
Yeah, like if you fuck up a 2x4, you fuck up a 2x4. It costs you like $2. It's fine.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I like when I was brewing beer for a while there. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I forgot about
but
that.
you could also blow a bunch of money on brewing beer.
Much
So.
money. So much money.
So like doing it cheap was great for a while there, but that was fun. I don't know. I gotta be doing stuff, Cooking I like a lot, so maybe I'm like cooking and stuff. But I gotta be like making stuff with my hands, I think. So
Idle hands, man.
It's a devil's playpen.
yeah,
From a movie.
I'm well aware. So, should we
Alrighty.
shut this shit
Let's
down?
shut it down.
Thanks, James.
Thanks
awesome
very much.
having
you're
man.
welcome.
Another great
Thanks
show
for
with
you
you.
guys having me on the show. I
Always
really
love
appreciate
having
it.
you.
So
Yeah, we'll do it again with more relevant topics.
Or we won't.
yeah,
It's fine.
I mean, some of those questions were gems. So I'm
You know
I'm
what we
not sure
should
which ones
do?
we missed. So
I think we got most of them.
Do you think that we could handle like a multi-guest show?
Who do you want to have with James?
Like if we did like Booney and James and Jabay or something, and we did
It's
like
too many.
do like a game show.
oh.
How would I set this up, man?
I don't know. I'm just
They have to be
I'm just
here.
spitballing here.
They have to
We
be
just
here.
spitballing
we
here.
should. Okay, I'll think about that.
Well, okay. So
You could
here's
do it
the
by
other thing I
voice
want to
on
ask.
Conference call.
Wait, are you gonna go to PRI this year?
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna make it this year.
That's a long way for you to go.
I'd love to, but
It's just
I totally fucking forgot about SEMA again.
Yeah, we're not going to SEMA,
No.
dude.
Are you sure?
I can't afford SEMA. Vegas once a year is enough for me.
Yeah.
You don't want to go like 3 months in a,
he-
3-month
I
period?
do, but
James could go to the SDCA National Convention.
he really could.
yeah, that's probably a thing I should go to.
Yeah, that doesn't really do us any good for this conversation.
We could
though.
have Jabay go there, though.
And Booney's a representative of the local region.
He could go too.
Booney should go because he needs CE credits. Actually, I need CE credits.
He
of
can
all
go.
Things.
The fucking region can pay for him to go. That's how that works.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, do you
I
need
think
credits
there's
for
a
something?
Nah, fine.
You don't have to have any sort of license or anything to do what you're doing.
Nah.
That's a fucking Wild West out here. What's going on?
Time attack.
I gotta have a
Time attack is the Wild
I gotta have
West.
a damn
You're on the
license
streets.
to-
You're on the roads. With
I know.
other,
Yeah, like, you
you're-
could kill people.
You need extra special safety.
Yeah, you could kill people.
Well, apparently I do. I got to go back and renew that thing already.
I think SCCA has like a scholarship program or something for first-time attendees or something like that.
Yeah, there
from a
is
region.
something. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure John could, or Johan could talk about it.
But
Johan.
I would like. So we're getting close. This is 183.
Yeah.
We're tiptoeing ever closer to that 200 mark, and I would like to do
Oh,
something
yeah.
special for that episode. So, like, if
When's it
anybody
gonna
has
be?
ideas,
Australia.
You could.
let me know. But I think if we
You
could
could
put
do
together like a multi-guest, like extravaganza, it would be fun.
We could do it on the chat line, that conference line that I got.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah. You
I
can
think
do
I
it by
might have
voice.
to
You
do
won't be able to
something
do it by
like that.
video.
Yeah,
we
we might just say screw video.
We could pit each other.
Good with that.
Pit each other together, or pit them against each other. I mean, like Jabay and Booney, just like in James, our regular, our Hayward, a couple of the guys that like we've had on more than once. Maybe even some of our super fans, Dusty.
You could do automotive trivia with two teams.
There we go. We could have
Yeah.
like fucking figure out a way for them to buzz in for teams and shit. I don't know, man. We could be
We need to
We could
do
get wild
we need to
crazy.
do trivia again, but we need someone that will do the questions.
Ian can do the questions.
Is
They
Ian
could-
Ian
we
still
could-
interested in doing that?
I'm sure he would. And then we could have him be the game show master, and then the guests could go against us. It'd be like, are
we
you
don't know
smarter
any-
than
yeah, but
are
we
you
don't know
smarter than a
anything.
fifth grader? Except proving that you're smarter than we are, which really shouldn't be
are,
an
yeah.
accomplishment, but we could do that. Like it's a thought. It could get wild and crazy in here.
Do we need like an English colonies team? No way, Ian's going to be the host, so that doesn't really work.
Yeah. But I think we could put something together. Maybe have some sort of raffle or thing like that.
Hey, we got to send some stuff out to those people.
we really- we gotta
I
mail
left
some
it
stuff.
on them. They never gave us an address.
I got one address, and then Chris wants me to give him some stuff. Chris, maybe we should just meet up sometime. I got one address. That was all.
Oh, okay.
Who else? There was well, yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you won, contact somebody. Tom is the one that. Tom, if you're listening, Tom's all the way in Hawaii. What's going on out there, Tom? I didn't know
damn,
Tom was in
son.
Hawaii. He's way the hell out there.
Tom Sargent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, you did?
He does like cool stuff too.
Oh, well, yeah.
He
Everybody
works-
does cool
he
stuff.
works on
except for
airplanes or
us.
some weird shit.
Dude, don't rub it in.
Yeah.
He works on airplanes, though.
I work
He
on
doesn't
one part.
really, like,
I
work
one
on
top-
airplanes.
Oh, you mean he's like a mechanic?
He does something crazy
Well,
because he's posted about it a couple of times.
everybody does more fun stuff than
I
we
think
do.
he's also the one that knew way too much about diesel generators, if I remember right, and like proved
Oh,
our
right.
concept completely irrelevant.
Oh, yeah. But don't send him anything, man.
Never mind. Sorry, Tom.
Fuck that guy.
All right. Thank you very much, James. And
Yeah.
we'll talk to you later, and
Thank you.
we'll figure out something for episode 200 and notify you if it involves you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Happy to. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
And goodbye to everybody else online. Or did I just screw you up, Robbie? Did I screw up the end of the show?
No, man, it's over.
Oh, okay.
It's over.
I thought you
Just
hit
hang
stop
up.
recording. You just hung up on James.
I just hung up
I
on
was like
James.
still talking,
fuck
and he
James.
hit stop recording on the video thing. I was like, well, there's going to be some black at the end of that YouTube video.
No, I could just like pull the end credit, the
I
outro.
gotcha.
I can pull that over. It's
This
fine.
is like way too much behind the scenes stuff, so I'm just going to say goodbye.
Bye.